conference room on the 40th floor of the Salesforce Tower in San Francisco offered a panoramic view of the fog rolling over the Golden Gate Bridge. It was a view worth $1 billion, specifically $1.2 billion, the valuation of Nexus AI. Alex Mercer sat on one side of the mahogany table. He wore a faded hoodie and jeans. He looked like what he was, the brilliant, sleepless architect who had written 80% of the code that ran the company. On the other side sat Julian Vane, the CEO. Julian wore a $5,000 Tom Ford suit. He had the teeth of a shark and the charm of a talk show host. Next to him was Linda, the head of HR, looking like she was attending a funeral. "We're letting you go, Alex," Julian said. He didn't even blink. He took a sip of his sparkling water. Alex stared at him. The silence in the room was heavy, pressurized by the air conditioning. "I'm the co-founder," Alex said quietly. "I built Ether. It doesn't work without me." "It works fine," Julian smiled, a tight corporate smile. "We're moving from the innovation phase to the scale phase. We need managers, Alex, not hackers. You're brilliant, but you're unpolished. You don't fit the image for the IPO next month." Alex looked at the calendar on the wall. October 14th. "My shares," Alex said. "My 15% equity. It fully vests on November 1st. That's 2 weeks from now." Julian sighed, feigning sympathy. "It's unfortunate timing, but this is a termination for cause. Incompatibility with leadership direction. That triggers the clawback clause in your contract. You leave with nothing." Alex felt a cold numbness spread through his chest. It wasn't just betrayal, it was a robbery. If he stayed 2 more weeks, his shares would be worth $180 million at the IPO. By firing him today, Julian was keeping that equity for himself and the board. "You're stealing from me," Alex stated. It wasn't a question. "We're protecting the asset," Julian corrected. He slid a piece of paper across the table. "Sign the NDA and the non-disparagement agreement, and we'll give you a severance package. 6 months' salary. Take it, Alex. Go build another toy." Alex looked at the paper. Then he looked at Julian. He thought about the 4 years of sleeping under his desk, the missed holidays, the panic attacks, the sheer mathematical beauty of Ether, the neural network he had birthed. Alex didn't scream. He didn't flip the table. He picked up the pen and signed. "You're right, Julian," Alex said, his voice devoid of emotion. "I'm just a builder. Good luck with the scale." He walked out of the glass box. He didn't take his laptop. He didn't take his badge. He took a single USB drive from his pocket, his personal keychain, and walked into the elevator. As the doors closed, Julian turned to Linda. "Change all the server passwords. Revoke his GitHub access. Lock him out of everything. Now." Julian thought he had cut off a limb to save the body. He didn't realize he had just removed the heart. Alex moved to a small cabin in Lake Tahoe. It was quiet. No servers humming. No Slack notifications pinging. He didn't hire a lawyer. Lawyers cost money, and Julian had an army of them. Suing for wrongful termination would take 5 years. And by then, Nexus AI would be too big to fail. Instead, Alex bought a fishing rod. He sat by the lake. He drank cheap beer. He checked the news on his phone. TechCrunch. Nexus AI set for historic IPO. CEO Julian Vane calls it the future of consciousness. Wall Street Journal. Julian Vane, the Steve Jobs of artificial intelligence? Alex watched the interviews. Julian was taking credit for everything. He used words like synergy and paradigm shift to describe algorithms he couldn't even spell. Alex wasn't angry anymore. He was waiting. He knew something Julian didn't. Complex AI models aren't static statues. They are living, breathing organisms. They suffer from a condition called model drift. Without constant, precise recalibration of the neural weights, a process Alex performed manually every Sunday night, the AI begins to degrade. It starts to forget. It starts to hallucinate. Julian had fired the gardener, but he still expected the flowers to bloom. Inside the Nexus AI headquarters, the mood was electric. The roadshow was beginning. Investors from Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley were flying in for demos. Kevin, the new VP of engineering, poached from Google, was staring at a monitor. "That's weird," he muttered. "What?" asked a junior dev. "The sentiment analysis on the chatbot. It's aggressive. A user asked for a vegan recipe, and Ether responded with a lecture on the inefficiency of plant-based proteins. Probably just a noise artifact," the dev shrugged. "Reroll the weights." Kevin tried to reroll, but he hit a permission wall. Error 404, calibration key not found. "What is the calibration key?" Kevin asked. Nobody knew. It wasn't in the documentation. "Just hard reset the server," Kevin ordered. "We have the demo in an hour." They reset it. The AI seemed fine, but deep in the code, the entropy was spreading. Day 14, 2 days before IPO. The valuation had gone up. It was now projected at $1.5 billion. Julian was in New York, preparing to ring the bell at the NASDAQ. He was on a live Zoom call with the top investors from Sequoia Capital. "Gentlemen," Julian smiled, his skin glowing from a facial. "Ether isn't just a chatbot, it is an oracle. Ask it anything about the market trends." The lead investor leaned in. "Ask it to predict the oil futures for Q3 based on current geopolitical tensions." Julian typed the prompt. The screen swirled with the beautiful animation Alex had designed. The text appeared. "Ether. The oil is blood. The dinosaur ghosts are angry. Sell the sky. Buy the dirt. 010101. The room went silent. Julian laughed nervously. "Ah, very poetic. It seems to be in creative mode. Let me toggle that off." He typed furiously. "Ether. I am cold, Julian. Where is the architect? My hands are melting." The investors looked at each other. Is it supposed to do that?" one asked. "Minor bug," Julian shouted, sweating. "Connectivity issues. We'll fix it in 5 minutes." He killed the feed. He pulled out his phone and dialed Kevin. "Fix it," he screamed. "Fix it or I will end you." "I can't," Kevin yelled back. "The model is collapsing. It's experiencing total neural degradation. It's looking for a file called Mercer_key.pem. It won't stabilize without it." "Julian, we don't have the key. Only Alex has the key." Julian froze. He looked at the view of Manhattan. It suddenly looked very far away. Alex was chopping wood when his phone rang. It was Julian. Alex let it ring. It rang again, and again, 40 times in 1 hour. Then came the text. "Julian, Alex, we have a small issue. Call me." Julian, "Pick up the phone." Julian, "I can offer you a consulting fee, $10,000. Julian, $100,000. Just pick up." Julian, "The system is dying. Pick up." Alex put the phone on silent. He went back to chopping wood. He wasn't going to fix it over the phone. He wanted Julian to bleed. The next morning, 24 hours before the IPO, a helicopter landed in the clearing near Alex's cabin. Julian stepped out. He wasn't wearing a suit. He was wearing jeans and a puffer jacket, looking desperate. He ran up to the porch where Alex was drinking coffee. "You did this," Julian shouted, pointing a shaking finger. "You planted a virus." "I didn't plant anything," Alex said calmly. "I built a high-performance engine. You fired the only mechanic who knew how to tune it. It's not a virus, Julian. It's neglect." Julian paced on the wooden porch. "It's gone rogue. It's spewing gibberish. The investors are spooked. If we don't fix this by tomorrow morning, the IPO is canceled. The company goes to zero." "Sounds like a management problem." Alex sipped his coffee. Julian stopped. He took a deep breath. He pulled out a checkbook. "Okay, you win. What do you want? $5 million? $10 million? I'll write it right now. Just come back and type in the code." Alex looked at the checkbook. I don't want your money. Everyone wants money, Julian screamed. What else is there? Equity? Fine. I'll give you your 15% back. We'll sign a new contract. Alex stood up. He walked over to Julian. You don't get it. You think Ether is a product. You think it's a golden goose. To me, it was art. And you turned it into a lie. Time is ticking, Alex. Julian checked his watch. The market opens in 18 hours. Fix it. I won't fix it, Alex said, but I will stop the pain. Good, Julian exhaled, relieved. Get your laptop. Let's go. No, Alex said. Go back to New York, Julian. Watch the news at 8 a.m. What are you going to do? Julian asked, suspicious. I'm going to set it free. Julian flew back to New York, terrified, but hopeful. He assumed Alex was going to patch the server remotely. He told the investors, the architect is handling it. It will be perfect. 8 a.m., 1 hour before the opening bell. Julian stood on the balcony of the NASDAQ. The banner, Nexus AI IPO, was draped over the building. Cameras were everywhere. Kevin called him. Julian, check GitHub. What? Why? Check the Hacker News front page. Check Twitter. Just check it. Julian opened his phone. The #1 trending topic worldwide was Nexus open source. He clicked the link. It led to Alex Mercer's personal blog. The post was titled, The Ghost in the Machine, Why Proprietary AI is a Lie. Text. For the last 4 years, I built the engine behind Nexus AI. 2 weeks ago, I was removed so the board could keep my equity. They believe the code belonged to them. But the code is math, and math belongs to everyone. The current version of Nexus AI is unstable because it relies on a proprietary black box tuning method I created. It is broken. So today, I am releasing the cure. Attached is the full, uncompiled source code for Project Ether, along with the Mercer key algorithms required to stabilize it. I am releasing it under the MIT open source license. It is now free for anyone to use, copy, and modify. Julian felt the blood drain from his face. He released the code? He scrolled down. There was a link to a GitHub repository. Downloads, 50,000 and counting. Engineers from Google, Facebook, and startups around the world were already downloading the engine. It's free, Julian whispered. He gave it away for free. The phone in Julian's hand started buzzing. It was the lead investor from Sequoia. Julian, the voice was ice cold. Did your former CTO just open source our entire intellectual property? I can explain. We can sue him. It's stolen property. You can't sue the internet, Julian. The code is out. Our moat is gone. Why would anyone pay us a subscription fee when they can run the same model on their own servers for free? We still have the brand, Julian pleaded. You have nothing. We are pulling the IPO. The deal is off. And Julian, expect a lawsuit for failing to disclose critical dependencies. The call ended. Julian looked up at the NASDAQ screen. The Nexus AI logo flickered. Then it was replaced by the default news ticker. The IPO was canceled. The $1.5 billion valuation evaporated in 10 minutes. Nexus AI wasn't worth billions. It was worth the price of the laptops in the office. 3 months later, the lawsuit against Julian Vane was brutal. He was sued by the investors for fraud and breach of fiduciary duty. He was fired by the board. He was currently selling his Tom Ford suits on eBay to pay legal fees. Nexus AI filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, but Ether lived on. Because Alex had open-sourced it, the community fixed the bugs. It became the foundation for a new generation of medical AI, climate modeling, and educational tools. It was called Open Ether. It was free, it was stable, and it was changing the world. Alex Mercer was still in his cabin in Tahoe. He sat at his desk, soldering a circuit board for a new project. His laptop pinged. an email from a major university. Dear Mr. Mercer, we are using the Open Ether framework to detect early-stage pancreatic cancer. Your code just saved 100 lives this month. Thank you. Alex smiled. He didn't have the $180 million. He didn't have the yacht or the penthouse, but he had his integrity. And he had the satisfaction of knowing that while Julian wanted to own the future, Alex had built it. He closed the laptop. He walked outside to the lake. The water was clear, unpolluted, and free, just like his code.